Good evening and welcome to the Sleeping Zoo. Facts to fall asleep to. The shadows of the North American landscape are home to a creature that exists in the curious intersection of mammalian brilliance and mischievous folklore. To understand the common raccoon or Procyon lotor, one must first look past the iconic mask and see an organism that represents one of the most successful evolutionary gambles in the order Carnivora. While their name often evokes the image of a backyard scavenger, the raccoon is a biological masterpiece of sensory integration, specifically designed to perceive the world through a channel that most mammals have long neglected. Their evolutionary journey began roughly 25 million years ago, diverging from a common ancestor shared with bears. Yet while the ursids grew in mass and power, the procyonids took a different path toward tactile specialization and cognitive flexibility. The hallmark of the raccoon is not its teeth or its speed, but its front paws, which serve as a secondary set of eyes. Unlike the majority of quadrupeds that use their forelimbs primarily for locomotion, the raccoon has repurposed its distal extremities into sophisticated data-gathering instruments. Each paw features 5 incredibly mobile fingers, and while they lack a truly opposable thumb, their ability to manipulate objects is nearly unparalleled in the non-primate world. The secret to this dexterity lies not just in the musculature of the paw, but in the massive dedication of neurological realignments within the brain. A significant portion of the raccoon's somatosensory cortex is devoted exclusively to processing tactile information from the paws. This is a level of neural investment similar to that found in the human hand or the star-shaped nose of the star-nosed mole. These paws are covered in a thin, cornified layer of skin that becomes remarkably pliable when submerged in water. This leads to the most misunderstood behavior in the raccoon's repertoire, known as dousing. For decades, casual observers and early naturalists assumed the raccoon was washing its food out of a misplaced sense of hygiene. However, the academic reality is far more fascinating. The raccoon's sense of touch is its primary way of seeing its prey. When the skin of the paw is dry, the sensitivity of the nerve endings is somewhat dampened by the toughness of the integument. When the raccoon submerges its paws, the water softens this layer and increases the responsiveness of the nerves, allowing the animal to gather a 3-dimensional map of the object it is holding. It can determine the weight, texture, temperature, and viability of a food item without ever looking at it. This tactile foraging is a specialized evolutionary niche that allows them to hunt effectively in the pitch-black, murky waters of marshes and streams, where visual hunting is impossible. Beyond the skin itself, the raccoon's paws are equipped with specialized hairs called vibrissae. While most people are familiar with the whiskers on a cat's face, the raccoon has similar clusters of these highly sensitive hairs located on its paws. These hairs act as early warning sensors, detecting subtle changes in air pressure or water displacement before the skin even makes contact with the surface. This creates a sensory feedback loop that allows the raccoon to maintain a high degree of grip awareness, adjusting the tension of its grasp in real time to prevent prey from escaping. This combination of neurological prioritization, moisture-dependent sensitivity, and vibrissae-based detection makes the raccoon's forelimb one of the most advanced biological senses in the animal kingdom. This sensory brilliance is paired with a cognitive architecture that has fascinated researchers for over a century. In 1907, the psychologist H.B. Davis conducted a series of experiments that would forever change our understanding of animal intelligence. He presented raccoons with a series of complex lockboxes that required multiple sequential steps to open, such as turning knobs, pulling levers, and sliding bolts. To the surprise of the scientific community at the time, the raccoons not only mastered these tasks with ease, but were often able to solve them faster than domestic dogs, or even some primates. More impressively, the raccoons retained the memory of how to solve these puzzles for years, even without intervening practice. This ability to form long-term procedural memories is a hallmark of high-level intelligence and suggests a capacity for abstract reasoning that goes beyond simple trial and error. In the wild, this intelligence manifests as a masterful command of their environment. Originally, the raccoon was a specialist of the deciduous forest, favoring hollowed-out trees and the proximity of moving water. In these natural cathedrals, they served as critical ecological actors. As opportunistic omnivores, they consume a vast array of fruits, nuts, insects, and small vertebrates. Their digestive system is a model of efficiency, capable of extracting nutrients from almost anything they can find. This dietary plasticity, combined with their role as seed dispersers, makes them essential for the health of the forest. When a raccoon consumes a berry and later deposits the seeds miles away in a nutrient-rich fertilizer, it is effectively replanting the forest it calls home. However, the true test of the raccoon's intelligence has been its transition from the deep woods to the concrete jungles of the modern world. While many species flee in the face of human expansion, the raccoon has leaned into it, becoming the ultimate urban generalist. They have learned to navigate the complex topography of the city, using storm drains as subterranean highways and attics as temperature-controlled dens. They have decoded the human schedule, learning which days the refuse is collected and which houses have the most accessible pet food. This transition has required a shift in their social structures as well. While often described as solitary, urban raccoons frequently form small, loose-knit groups known as gazzeries. These are not hierarchies like a wolf pack, but rather temporary alliances where information about food sources can be shared through scent marking and vocalizations. This social complexity is mirrored in their vocal repertoire, which includes over a dozen distinct sounds, ranging from bird-like chirps to guttural growls. These sounds facilitate a nuanced social life that we are only beginning to understand. Female raccoons, or sows, are particularly diligent mothers, spending up to a year teaching their kits the intricate skills of climbing, hunting, and puzzle solving. This extended period of maternal care is vital because the raccoon's survival depends less on instinct and more on learned behavior. Each generation of urban raccoons is essentially attending a school of the streets, where they inherit the collective knowledge of their ancestors regarding how to survive in a human-dominated world. The raccoon's presence in the human psyche is as old as the history of the Americas. Long before they were being studied in laboratories, they were being woven into the cosmologies of indigenous peoples. To many First Nations, the raccoon was the ultimate trickster figure. The word raccoon itself is derived from the Algonquian word arafkone, or Racoon, which roughly translates to he who rubs with his hands. This linguistic root highlights that even thousands of years ago, humans recognize the tactile obsession that defines the species. In Abenaki mythology, there is the figure of Asban, the trickster who is constantly searching for food and outwitting more powerful animals through sheer cleverness and a lack of ego. In these tales, the raccoon is rarely a villain. Instead, he is a survivor, a creature that uses his wits to navigate a world that is often hostile or indifferent to his needs. These myths often focused on the raccoon's mask, explaining it as a symbol of the animal's dual nature, a creature that exists in both the light and the dark, the water and the land. In some traditions, the mask was said to be given to the raccoon by the spirits as a way to hide its identity while it stole fire or food for the benefit of other animals. This cultural reverence stands in stark contrast to the later European perception of the raccoon. To the early frontiersmen, the raccoon was a commodity. The coonskin cap became an iconic symbol of the American wilderness, worn by figures like Daniel Boone and Davy Crockett. During this era, the raccoon was viewed through the lens of utilitarianism, its fur valued for its warmth, and its meat for its protein. The sheer volume of the raccoon trade in the 18th and 19th centuries is staggering. Yet despite this intense hunting pressure, the species thrive. Their ability to reproduce quickly and adapt to changing landscapes allowed them to survive the era of the fur trade, with their populations largely intact. The transition from the colonial fur trade to the modern era saw the raccoon's image undergo a radical transformation. As the American frontier closed and the industrial age took hold, the raccoon shifted from a source of pelt-based wealth to a symbol of rural character, and eventually a fixture of suburban legend. This shift was fueled by the animal's uncanny ability to thrive in the wake of human progress. While other apex predators like the wolf or the cougar were pushed to the brink of extinction by habitat fragmentation, the raccoon found that the fragmentation of the forest actually suited its edge species' requirements perfectly. The suburban landscape, with its patchwork of woodlots, manicured lawns, and reliable waste streams, became a paradise for the Procyon lotor. This adaptability eventually led to one of the most curious chapters in the history of invasive species: the raccoon's arrival in Japan. In the late 1970s, an animated series titled Rascal the Raccoon captured the hearts of the Japanese public. Based on an autobiographical novel by Sterling North, the show depicted a young boy and his adorable pet raccoon. The resulting demand for raccoons as pets led to the importation of thousands of animals from North America. However, as the buyers soon discovered, the raccoon's intelligence and dexterity make it a disastrous domestic companion. They can open refrigerators, turn on faucets, and dismantle furniture with surgical precision. Within months, frustrated pet owners began releasing their raccoons into the Japanese countryside. Without natural predators, and with an abundance of temples and agricultural fields to exploit, the raccoon population exploded. Today, they are considered a significant threat to Japanese biodiversity and historical architecture, as their sharp claws easily damage the ancient wood of Buddhist temples. This phenomenon serves as a global case study in how human cultural trends can inadvertently reshape the biological makeup of a continent. Back in North America, the raccoon's relationship with the human waste stream gave rise to the trash panda moniker that dominates 21st century internet culture. While the name is used affectionately, it underscores a profound biological reality. The raccoon's foraging habits in urban environments have forced them to become even more cognitively flexible. Navigating a modern plastic trash can require a different set of motor skills and problem-solving strategies than fishing for crayfish in a mountain stream. Studies have shown that urban raccoons often exhibit higher levels of bold behavior and innovative problem-solving compared to their rural counterparts. This is essentially evolution in real time, as the species adapts to a world made of steel, plastic, and glass. To understand the longevity of the raccoon, we must also look at the specific chemical and biological processes that allow them to process such a diverse diet. Their digestive system is remarkably robust, featuring a stomach that can handle high levels of acidity, which is necessary for neutralizing the bacteria often found in scavenged meat or decaying fruit. Unlike more specialized carnivores, the raccoon possesses a long, small intestine that allows for the slow fermentation and absorption of plant matter, giving them the best of both the herbivorous and carnivorous worlds. This metabolic flexibility means they can switch from a diet of high-protein insects in the spring to high sugar berries in the summer and high-fat acorns in the autumn, allowing them to build up the thick layers of adipose tissue necessary to survive the winter. While raccoons do not hibernate in the traditional sense, they enter a state of torpor during the coldest months. During this time, their heart rate drops and their body temperature decreases slightly, though they remain capable of waking up and foraging during occasional warm spells. This winter survival strategy is supported by their thick, double-layered coat. The underfur is dense and woolly, providing a thermal barrier that traps air against the skin, while the long, coarse guard hairs provide a waterproof shield against snow and rain. The iconic rings on their tail are more than just decoration. They serve as disruptive camouflage, breaking up the silhouette of the animal as it climbs through the dappled light of the forest canopy or navigates the shadows of a suburban backyard. The sensory world of the raccoon extends beyond the paws into a specialized visual system. While they are often considered colorblind, they have an exceptionally high density of rod cells in their retinas, which provides them with superior night vision. Their eyes are also positioned slightly more forward than those of many other non-primates, giving them a degree of binocular vision that is essential for judging distances when leaping between branches. However, their visual acuity for distant objects is relatively poor. They live in a world that is focused on the immediate 3-foot radius around their bodies, like a world of textures, smells, and intricate shapes. This nearsightedness is not a flaw, but a specialization for a creature that spends its life interacting with the world at arm's length. The olfactory capabilities of the raccoon are equally impressive. They possess a large and complex vomeronasal organ, which allows them to taste the air for chemical signals. This is particularly important for their social interactions. Raccoons use communal latrines, which serve as the neighborhood's information hubs. By smelling the waste of other raccoons, an individual can determine the health, reproductive status, and diet of its neighbors. This scent-based communication network allows for a degree of social cohesion without the need for constant physical proximity. It is a quiet, chemical dialogue that plays out every night across millions of acres of forest and city. As we look toward the future of the species, the raccoon stands as a testament to the power of the generalist. In an era of rapid climate change and mass extinction, the creatures that can eat anything, go anywhere, and solve any problem are the ones that will inherit the earth. The raccoon is not merely a trash panda or a trickster. It is a highly evolved specialist in the art of survival. From the sacred myths of the Abenaki to the viral videos of the modern web, the raccoon continues to mirror our own ingenuity and our own complicated relationship with the natural world. They are the masked observers of our civilization, thriving in the shadows we cast, reminding us that intelligence and adaptability are the most powerful tools in the biological arsenal. Their story is a long-form narrative of resilience, a 25-million-year journey from the ancient forests to the modern rooftop, and they show no signs of slowing down. The transition of the raccoon from a forest-dwelling scavenger to a titan of global pop culture is a phenomenon that mirrors the animal's own adaptability. Perhaps the most aggressive modern rebrand of the species comes via the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Rocket Raccoon. Far from a mere caricature, Rocket embodies the Procyon spirit, resourceful, technologically savvy, and possessing a fierce, often misunderstood independence. This character has shifted the public perception of raccoons from backyard pests to tactical geniuses, highlighting their manual dexterity through the lens of high-tech gadgetry. Decades before the silver screen saw space-faring raccoons, the music world paid homage to the animal's folklore-ish charm through the Beatles' 1968 track Rocky Raccoon. Inspired by the aesthetic of the American Old West, the song uses the raccoon as a persona for a scrappy, heartbroken protagonist, cementing the animal's image as a resilient underdog in the collective consciousness of the counterculture era. This lyrical personification tapped into the animal's natural mask, suggesting a hidden depth and a life of drama played out in the shadows of the frontier. In the realm of animation, the raccoon has served as both a bridge to nature and a vehicle for environmental activism. Disney's Pocahontas introduced Mako, a character who, despite the film's historical dramatization, captured the quintessential behavioral traits of the species: the obsessive washing of food, the insatiable curiosity, and the silent, dexterous thievery that defines their interaction with humans. Meanwhile, in the 1980s, the Canadian animated series The Raccoons took a more direct approach to ecological messaging. Set in the lush, vibrant evergreen forest, the show followed Bert Raccoon and his companions as they defended their home against industrial greed. By making a raccoon the face of environmental preservation, the series utilized the animal's natural charisma to teach a generation about the fragility of the wilderness. Ultimately, the raccoon's success is a result of a perfect storm of traits: the tactile genius of a surgeon, the digestive resilience of a scavenger, the cognitive flexibility of a scientist, and the camouflage of a shadow. They are the ultimate pragmatists. Whether they are raiding a cornfield in the Midwest, catching crabs on a beach in Florida, or navigating the rafters of a warehouse in Tokyo, they remain unchanged in their core mission: to perceive, to process, and to persist. As we continue to urbanize the planet, we are not destroying the raccoon's habitat. We are simply providing them with a new set of puzzles to solve. And if the last century has taught us anything, it is that the raccoon will eventually find a way to open the box. Thank you, and good night.